Hello and welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manav Sinha. Now you're watching that one show which fills in for your need of both technology and automobiles right at one place. And giving us company today is this amazing Aston Martin Vantage. So let's start off by showing you a glimpse of what we have lined up for you in the next half an hour.
Well, today we get our hands on the latest Hyundai which will bring back some memories, the Hyundai Santro. And we find out whether the iPhone XR lives up to its hype. And also tell you the phones you should buy this Diwali.
So we're starting off with some automotive action on the show, and we're starting off with a car review. But here's the thing, it is not just any other car because it is the Hyundai Santro, the car that spearheaded Hyundai's growth in the Indian market. And it is arguably one of the most popular cars in India's automobile history. Now it has come back in a new avatar, and Arjit has got his hands on it and is sharing his reviews.
Back in '98, Santro hatchback helped Hyundai Motors establish a brand name for itself, making it the second largest car manufacturer of India. And so it was obvious that in 2018, when Hyundai decided to relaunch a compact family hatchback, the Santro name was an obvious choice for them. But 20 years down the line, the buying preferences have changed and the market has evolved. So can the new Hyundai reignite the same magic? Let's find it out. There are very few cars in India that have a brand recall, and the Hyundai Santro is one such car. Launched back in 1998, Hyundai Santro quickly went on to become one of the largest selling compact hatchbacks in India. After closing the production in 2014, Hyundai has now revived the car with a completely new design. However, there are some mixed feelings as far as the design of the new Santro is concerned. A lot of the design cues are borrowed from the i10. Grand i10 has also been a source of inspiration for the new Santro. Now that's not a bad point at all, but with the new Santro, we were expecting some new design language. That said, the new Santro looks good for its segment and has a stylish design. It is also more wider and longer than the previous Santro. The height has also been reduced to give it a more balanced look. Few highlights in the Santro will be the positioning of the fog lamps that have been elevated just below the headlights to reduce the damage, boomerang style lines on body, and the distinctive tailgate design. The rest of the car is simple, modern, but not something we expected. Which brings us to the cabin of the new Santro, which is more innovative and premium. Hyundai has added a dual tone shade to the cabin, and the overall quality feels much higher than what the rivals offer. The dashboard has an elephant inspired design as per Hyundai, and if you look closely, it indeed feels like Lord Ganesha. Hyundai has nicely integrated the champagne gold inserts in the dashboard, and there are many segment first features like this 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system. The 7-inch touchscreen system comes equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, again first in the segment, and feels nice and easy to operate. Other first in the segment features include a propeller design outer AC vents, color coded dashboard inserts, and rear AC vent. The instrument cluster with digital display reads out most of the information and looks good. Practicality wise, Hyundai has thoughtfully added a lot of pockets to keep your stuff in. There is ample space to fit 4 full-grown adults with ease, with generous legroom and headroom. The boot space stands at 235 litre, which is not enough to house your big airport bags, but is deep enough to stack a couple of bags. The seats are nice and comfortable with good under-thigh support. Now coming to the biggest negative inside the cabin, the power window buttons. Why on earth Hyundai decided to place the buttons near the gear lever? It might be easy for the family purpose, but it's an outdated concept and driver faces a lot of problems while operating these buttons. That said, the rest of the cabin is best in the class. Now Hyundai is offering the new Santro with a 1.1 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with a claim mileage of 20.3 km to a litre. There is also a CNG engine on option with a claim mileage of 30.5 km to a litre. But for us, the biggest USP would be the addition of the smart AMD gearbox in the new Santro. The 1.1 litre tried and tested petrol unit of Hyundai produces 68 bhp and 99 Nm of torque. For a car this light, the engine is ample to cruise comfortable around the city limits. However, on highways, it takes a bit of stress while going upwards of 100 kmph. The engine is mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox and the Hyundai's in-house developed AMT gearbox. Talking about the manual first, the gearbox is smooth to operate and feels light while shifting gears. We drove the car for more than 150 kilometers and at no point we felt tired of changing gears, even though we faced some issue in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Now this is where an AMT gearbox comes in, and it's good that Hyundai has added an in-house AMT to the biggest launch for them, as the gearbox hardly feels like an AMT and behaves like a proper automatic. Surely there are some jerks, but they are largely contained to high speeds. For city driving, this AMT is the closest replica of an AT gearbox. The steering is nimble and more suited for city driving. The NVH levels are minimal and are only felt when pushing the car too hard. However, the highlight of this car is the supreme ride quality it offers thanks to its K1 platform. As soon as the car starts rolling, you will observe how good it feels to sit inside the cabin and how easily it eats most of the crevices and bumps. Hyundai is also offering ABS with EBDS standard in the new Santro along with driver side airbag. The top spec model gets dual airbags. That said, the brakes were a sore point at high speed driving. While they operated perfectly in city, at high speed we felt like losing the control of the hatch after hitting the brakes. Overall, Hyundai has done complete justice to the new Santro and filled a large void in the compact hatchback segment in India.
The new Hyundai Santro offers almost everything that you can expect from a compact family hatchback, right from the features to cabin and an upmarket design. And at Rs 3.89 lakh, it is also one of the most value for money offering in the country today. But above everything else, it is the Santro brand name that will resonate with the buyers.
Alright, so it is time to move on to some technology action on the show, and we've already told you about the Apple iPhone XS and the XS Max. Now we've got our hands on the big one, the Apple iPhone XR. Now we know a lot of you are looking forward to it because it is the more accessible option, so let's go to Vishal and find out more about it.
The colorful iPhones are back, and the iPhone XR is nothing like the iPhone 5C from many years ago. It follows the same philosophy as the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max, and that's a great foundation to build on. However, in the minds of many, this was also supposed to be the calm black, a chirpy yellow, a cheerful coral, and a gorgeous explained by the fact that inside of the lightning port on the phone is also the color of the phone itself. You'll probably notice that the bezel around the screen is ever so slightly thicker than the iPhone XS devices. But a lot of that has to do with the LCD display technology as compared with the OLED screens. Speaking of which, this LCD is what Apple calls the liquid retina. While it isn't to be compared with the OLED displays, this is an LCD screen that ticks off the boxes of usability. Incidentally, this display does not support the 3D touch. Is it perhaps the first indication about the beginning of the end of this feature? This is more like the iPhone XS than you may first imagine. The iPhone XR runs the newest and the most powerful A12 Bionic processor, for instance. It also has the true depth front-facing camera setup for face recognition. All this adds a lot of value. Value is something that has its own subjective connotations. However, there is no running away from the fact that the iPhone XR starts just upwards of ₹75,000 in India. This is a lot more expensive than certain other markets globally. Local taxes, currency valuations and whatnot. But the fact still remains that this is the most affordable entry point into the current iPhone lineup. However, do remember, this goes up against the iPhone X from last year, which is a great phone even now, and that is an understatement in many ways. The choice is, do you want the latest or do you want something which is old and quite literally gold?
Welcome back, you're watching the Tech and Auto Show and I'm your host Manav Sinha. Now we all know Diwali is around the corner and we are excited about it as well. But here's the thing, when it's Diwali we buy a lot of smartphones and that can get often confusing. Well, to help you out with that confusion, we have Varun who's listing down the top smartphones this Diwali.
Diwali is just around the corner and it is that time of the year
when you like to pamper yourself and your loved ones. And if buying a new phone is on your wish list, here are 3 phones which we think should be on top of your list. When it comes to design, performance and reliability, Apple is a brand which is leading from the front. And this year they have taken it to the next level with the launch of iPhone XS Max. Apple claims this is the best phone they have made so far. But is this the phone that will boost your Diwali celebrations? Let's find out.
For a big screen phone, this doesn't feel bulky or unwieldy. Apple claims that the iPhone XS Max have an even better glass layer at the front and back to go with the stainless steel, which should provide better protection against scratches when the phone is in your pocket. The iPhone XS Max gets a 6.5-inch OLED display which Apple calls Super Retina. Compared with last year's iPhone XS screen, this has 60% more dynamic range. The contrast ratio has been improved as well, which means blacks will be darker and that makes all other colors look better in the process. The screen also supports the Dolby Vision and HDR10 dynamic range standards. Under the hood, this runs the powerful A12 Bionic chip. This processor does everything faster than the A11 Bionic chip in the iPhone X from last year. One of the headline improvements is the faster artificial intelligence computations. The A11 Bionic chip did 600 billion computational calculations per second. The A12 Bionic chip can do as many as 5 trillion calculations per second. This means that you will get faster face recognition with Face ID, even more powerful AI apps, as well as quicker image processing after you click a photograph. The dual 12-megapixel camera take advantage of a new image signal processor which will work with the neutral engine to do facial detection and implementing tweaks depending on the frame. In terms of the photography performance, the great camera combination of the iPhone X has now become even better. Apple has added a smart HDR feature which will take multiple images of the same frame in the background at different exposures and merge them together in the final image to give better detailing of moving subjects, imperfect lighting, or a more accurate representation of a complex frame.
Traveling is a major part of the festival season, and if you're traveling alone, you need a good smartphone to accompany you on these long journeys. Powerful battery, good camera and the S Pen make the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 an ideal candidate to be your travel buddy. But is this the phone you should bring home this Diwali? Take a look.
The Galaxy Note 9 looks a lot like the Galaxy Note 8. That is absolutely not a bad thing, but consumer may have a slightly different view on that. While the whole sameness of design works well for Apple's iPhones, Android phone buyers tend to be a bit more finicky about designs. Perhaps they are spoiled by the choice available to them. The reality is that even though it is a great to hold and use, the Note 9 doesn't look very different from the Note 8 at first glance. The Note 9 is ticking off all the boxes in terms of user experience and performance. The display is tad larger than before and retains all the brilliance needed to make this a truly standout smartphone screen. One can never allege that the Note 9 screen is dull either because this Super AMOLED screen can really make colors come alive. In terms of performance, this ticks off all the boxes. The S Pen does get a lot of updates though. This good old stylus is now a full-fledged wireless remote control as well. You can customize a single click to take a photo from the camera or double click to take another task, for instance. The existing S Phone capabilities of scribbling, drawing, making notes and more remain as robust as ever. The Galaxy Note 9 is more powerful, has even better cameras. The S Pen is more useful and it truly feels like a premium Android flagship phone.
Just like traveling, capturing moments through your smartphone is what everyone enjoys during the festive season. And Google claims the Pixel 3 XL captures the best pictures even under the low light. Sounds wonderful, right? But that's not all. There are a lot of other features too which will make you fall in love with this phone.
For starters, the design feels significantly better than before. Even though it looks very similar to last year's Pixel 2 XL, the glass and aluminium feels much better to hold. The upper portion of the back panel is glossy, while the rest of the panel has a matte look. The Pixel 3 XL is quite grippy to hold, and that is great for what is essentially a large screen phone. The screen is bright, rich, sharp and offers good viewing angles as well. Then there is the small matter of the notch that isn't exactly small. There's no way that you will not notice it at the top of the screen. It comes with 4 GB of RAM. It is fast and fluid to use with no delays or lags. That said, this clean and uncluttered and unaltered version of Android 9 Pie could actually never struggle on 4 GB RAM. The Pixel 3 captures great detailing and accurate colors. But look, 2 pieces of optical hardware pulling in a certain amount of data in the photograph will always have an advantage over a single camera trying to do the same job. Artificial intelligence can only take you that far before the proverbial ceiling is reached, and it has. All said and done, the Google Pixel 3 XL is truly setting new benchmarks in the Android smartphone space, and a lot of other flagships could do well to watch out.
Now when it comes to the present state of automobiles, you can see it's pretty damn good, as I'm inside the Aston Martin Vantage right now. But the future is said to be electric. Now Kymco, a Taiwan-based scooter manufacturer, believes that they have found the solution for everybody's needs. Well, we got into a conversation with Alan Ko, the chairman of Kymco, to find out more about it.
Hello, this is Alan Ko, chairman of Kymco. Kymco was founded in 1964. We specialize in scooters. The home market is Taiwan, and we have been developing electric scooters for more than 20 years. And we launched IONIX in Tokyo this year in March, and then we launched IONIX Commercial. But when you are talking about for commercial use, people are expecting to get a total solution that is going to solve the needs for their commercial purpose. So for example, if you are talking about the retail companies where they have delivery services, a big chain, they may require a few hundred vehicles or even 1,000 vehicles, and they are looking for a total solution and from a very trusted partner. When you have gasoline-powered vehicles, you have your employee go out to get the gasoline from the gas station. Honestly, it's very difficult to manage. There will be a lot of things going on, and you have different price for different grade of gasoline, and there's no way you understand what is going on and what is put into this tank. But the gasoline cost is one of the most significant single costs for these businesses. So they need to be able to manage a lot of things. But for electric vehicles, you can have your energy station, charging facilities at home, and you get to understand exactly what's going on, what is the utilization rate of these vehicles, of this user, of this battery. You are able to do a lot more things than you have a gasoline power fleet. The logistic companies, retail companies, they provide delivery service. They constantly need these vehicles to fulfill their business function. Then what we can see these days, the vehicle sharing is very popular. It is eco-friendly and is cost-effective for consumers. So the IONIX Commercial is aiming to be a very good partner for all these vehicle sharing startups. They want to do things fast, and they need a very reliable partner. So IONIX Commercial can accelerate their time to market for their electric vehicles. The motivation for business to go electric, they are very strong because going electric offers real advantages. The electric vehicle, they have simpler mechanics, so that you don't need to change the oil, you don't need to change the air filter. The after-sales maintenance cost is much lower. And then of course, you can monitor the use of the energy very well. You get to understand everything going on. You can improve your operation tremendously. And electric vehicle itself offers, it's no exhaust and no noise, no vibration. So you can use it in-house. So we are hoping that with that we can bring in as many customers as possible who have the strong desire to go electric. I think I would say right now, the problem is not that there is no such demand. The problem is that there is no such viable solution for them. I have no doubt that the demand is over there. We just have to let other people know that we have this amazing solution, and then we have to build our credibility and reputation on this. And then I do believe there is a great potential and future for this.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or perhaps how did you find the Aston Martin Vantage? Well, let us know by reaching out to us on Twitter. If it's about technology, you can talk to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, you can reach out to us at News18 Auto. That's about all for today. We'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.